Okay, Propel program, Brent Fikowski here, October 6th to October 12th. This is the fourth week of the 5 week block. And we're talking about Propel Competitor, Propel Athlete. I'm going to start with Propel Competitor. So that is the CrossFit training, using the principles that I used to be very fit. And then the Propel Athlete, a little more fun, using some athleticism to increase this block is mostly about sprinting and some sort of general strength, but usually more plyometric as well. So this will be a shorter video than usual. Next week we've got a lot of testing in the Propel Competitor. So we've got a 2K ski time trial. We have actual Diane. We have actual Gretel. Straight up, we've been doing the intervals and some skill work on those things. We've got some heavy singles front squat, not building to a max, but a couple heavy singles. So, and then we've also just got some longer zone 2. So we've got like a full on 60-minute zone 2 nonstop. So all kind of building to that 5th week, and hopefully you can see the results. And same with the L sits. So the L sits we've been doing every week. The 5th week, not this week, the 5th week is going to be establishing some max L sits in the top of a dip position on rings. So the hardest variation of all the L sits we've done, but hopefully the core isn't the limiter there, and it's just the shoulders after all the L sit work we've been doing that hopefully has been getting some high quality L sit work. So just kind of wanted to remind you of that testing next week. This week with Diane and Gretel, less focus on, let me just pull it up here, less focus on actual technique this week. I mean, still obviously as always focusing on technique, but we are working this week just actually accumulating basically the same total volume as next week and trying to do it with some little rests in between. So you've got, a little interval of deadlifts, handstand push-ups, rest, deadlifts, handstand push-ups, and the same for Gretel. So really just refining that technique. Hopefully by the end, you're kind of seeing where you're falling apart, what feels right. Next week, there's not going to be any rest. So hopefully learning from what you're doing this week, and really just deciding this week, okay, this is going to be my technique I'm going to use next week, knowing that you're going to maybe change it. So for something like Gretel, like when I did that, I went from a push press to a push jerk as I got more fatigued. But other than that, the reps stayed the same. Same kind of muscle clean into push press and then straight to the ground. But it was muscle clean into push jerk as I got tired. For you, that might look like touch and go and then some singles, or I'm going to start by jumping up my burpees, then I'm going to do some step up, and then the last 3 I'm going to jump up. With handstand push-ups and deadlifts, the technique should probably stay the same, but it's more about that breakup strategy, right? With 21, 15, 9, figuring that out. So this week, an opportunity to kind of think through that, feel it out this week, making sure you're dialing in whatever that technique is that you intend to use. And then this week on the ski, making sure that you are using the ski intervals like the mixed zone 2 and the ski durability, which is 3 sets at 1 kilometers, resting 5 minutes, to hopefully dial in that 2K time trial piece for next week's ski erg. A lot of people time trial the 2K row. Good to know that ski erg pace as well. As it'll sometimes come up in competition. You're kind of like, oh, you always just kind of assume it's like about the row pace, but maybe not for you. So good to know there. I'm going to chat a little bit about Propel Athlete. So big one is really just embracing your potential clumsiness in some of this skill work, right? I know I feel the same way whenever I'm doing, like this week, we've got the gallops. So we've had these different sprinting drills every week, and they can seem kind of silly. And I know when I do a lot of them, I feel very unathletic, but that's why we're doing them, right? That's why you're doing this program. And when you look at the best runners in the world, they make this stuff look easy. They make it look cool. They make it look explosive. They make it look fluid, and it's no coincidence. If you're a runner, if you're in the track, you're doing a lot of this stuff. Or if you're just virtuosity and you have amazing running, then something like this is going to come easy. So it's kind of chicken or the egg, but you're doing a lot of this work, especially if you've been running your whole life, you've been doing track your whole life. This is the sort of stuff you do. The single leg gallops, the single leg jumps, the double foot, the skipping. So with the gallops this week, watch that video and just embrace that it's not going to be perfect, right? This isn't about, making that drill look perfect on the first day. It's no different than the first time you snatched. It's no different than the first time, maybe you tried double unders or whatever skill it is. It's no different than the first time you swung a golf club. All those things take practice, and that's why we're practicing. So it's the same with the gallops. with the triple leg switches on the wall. Next week, pushing a sled next week. If you have it, if not, there's a variation for it that's equally and maybe in some ways even more appropriate. But so with those triple leg switches on the wall, same thing, right? Like film them if you can. It's always good to spend a little more time on the things that and film the things that you're not as comfortable with. So for someone like myself, some of the jumping stuff comes pretty naturally to me. I used to play volleyball, but a lot of the sprinting work, not so much, right? And I've been lifting weights a lot with CrossFit, so I don't need to film my clean pull as much. But even some of the med ball throws, I'm like watching that and it's like, oh, it's looking really blocky. It's looking really rigid. How can I make that look more fluid? Like some of these videos I'm watching on YouTube where guys are slamming med balls. They look aggressive. They look really fit. And just trying to figure that out, right? And you're not going to figure it out in one session, but you can figure it out in 3 or 4 sometimes. So enjoy those gallops and just embrace that they're a little clunky, maybe get in a few more sets if you can. Try not to go overboard on those. And all this stuff, the jumping, all that, because, we are doing a lot of that. So be careful on the knees and the ankles and so forth. But hopefully you are still seeing some value from those and you're having some fun with them. And, not anything like really technically that I'm going to provide on those other than just keep at it and enjoy it. And find that sweet spot between being relaxed and also focusing. So there's this really fine sweet spot. If you look at the fastest runners, even in the 100-meter, and you look at their face, a lot of times it's relaxed and their jaw is bouncing all over the place and their traps are relaxed. And it can be hard when you're trying to run fast. You're clenching up, right? You're tightening your upper body. But typically being relaxed is fastest, not only for, a marathon, but also for the 100-meter. So let your body do the work and, keep as many pieces of your body as relaxed as possible. That's it, folks. Propel program. This is week 4. Excited for week 5 next week, and then another big block coming right up. If you have any questions, as always, Train Heroic. That's where the programming is, and just hit me up there. I'll hit you. I'll get back to you. I'll respond.